guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Isabella. I'm an author and digital content creator, and welcome back to my little space on YouTube. Today is probably a very long awaited video and I keep putting it off, but we are going to be talking about my 2025 publishing plans and also my 2025 projects I hope to work on. The first couple of projects are going to be only the books that I plan on publishing in 2025, and then we're going to be talking about the books that I also want to work on in the background or series as well, and I will probably work on them, but they're not going to be my main focus. So starting off with Project Broken Hearted, I started writing this book during my November writing diary. So if you want to go find any of those videos where we started the draft and finished the draft, you can find that in that series or that little playlist. I will have it linked down below. But Project Broken Heart is actually, it was intentionally meant to be similar to Everything I Couldn't Say, like in terms of storyline where it follows that kind of progression and you end up with like the self-love aspect. However, during the drafting, one moment. During the drafting of this book, I ended up making it more like a little vibes kind of thing. So it may not end up being at all what I expected back when I started writing this book. So to be fair, I don't really know how to describe Project Broken Hearted now, because even I don't know what I want this book to be. I have finished draft 1, so we are up to the revising stage, which is where I'm going to really start going in on this project and trying to figure out what I really want to make this project become. But I am hoping to publish this book sometime later in the year. I'm not sure when, but I'm thinking it's going to be one of the later projects, because I don't think I'm going to have a lot of energy to be really focusing on this book, because I have some other projects I really want to focus on instead. I also have another project called Project Reflections, and this is going to be a self-love a self-love poetry collection. So Project Reflections is definitely going to be a different kind of perspective for me to write from, because instead of writing from like a persona's perspective, we're going to be writing from a mirror. So that's my mirror in the background, please ignore everything else in my room. But yeah, we're going to be writing from the perspective of a mirror, and it's definitely going to be a lot of insecurities, a lot of self-love. So really excited to see how this goes, because I have definitely never written from the perspective of a mirror before, but I have written from inanimate objects perspectives. So I'm really excited to see how this goes, and it's definitely going to be fun to kind of like delve into a different creative kind of perspective, especially in poetry. So really excited to see where this project goes. I do plan on publishing this book when, I'm not really sure, because I haven't really planned it out thoroughly enough for me to have, I guess, an estimated predicted timeline. But I do want to publish it sometime this year. Okay, the next one we talked about quite a bit in the past. It's called Project Academia. Once again, a little poetry collection. It's going to be academic rivals, two lovers, pretty much a very simple trope. And I'm kind of expecting this project to take a long time. So I'm thinking this one might be published in December, because I don't really have a completed outline for it, and I don't have a draft written for this either. I just have like the blurb and like all of those other things. I have the cover even in my head designed properly, that I know what I want to do when I get around to it. But in terms of storyline, it's not ready yet. So definitely a December kind of publishing release date. I feel like I'm going to say that for every project, because I don't know what I'm going to work on this. But yeah, I'm aiming for a hopefully before December release. If not, might be a next year January release, because Australia starts their school year around January, February. This one you definitely know probably if you watched a lot of my older videos, Project Wishes. Yeah, we need to get this book out of here. We need to get a move on the second chance romance. It's actually one of my most, I wouldn't say happiest, but it definitely has the happy ending. But yeah, it's going to be focusing on love and less on the heartbreak, but it is second chance, so there will be a bit of elements of heartbreak in it. So I'm really excited. I really love this one. I actually almost have the cover finalized, so I can't wait to see how that goes. And in terms of the actual story, let's not talk about how I haven't touched the draft at all since I began it in 2023. Yeah, we have a long way to go. But I'm hoping for either a October or November release for this book. I'm actually filming the writing vlog for draft 1 of this book right now, today when I film this video, and that's for Project Photo. I'm hoping that this is either going to be published in March or August or September, because I want to try and time it with like school photo timing. Now obviously I live in Australia, I don't live in the US, so I don't really know how their school photo system works, but from research it says that it's taken before school, but I'm not really sure if that's true or not. So if you do live in the US and you have taken your school photos before, please let me know, because I would like to try and time this around that kind of period. Next one's actually duology. I'm not sure if I'm going to release these together or a month apart or something like that, but it's for Project Stars and Project Sun. I love these two ideas. It's actually going to be a really sad kind of book. I'm assuming from my memory of what I planned when I got these ideas, it was going to be a self-love kind of poetry collection. So once again, similar to Everything I Couldn't Say, it was going to be like heartbroken kind of sad themes at the beginning, progressing towards self-love. And that's going to be the same for two books, except we're just following different stories. So I felt like this was a really easy way to kind of like, I guess, prepare me for my interconnected series and all of those romance series that I want to write in the future. But I didn't have enough kind of practice with interconnected series that I felt confident enough, so I wanted to do this as a duology and see how that went. So I'm really excited to eventually get moving with this project, because I do have the ideas pretty broken down, pretty planned out. It's just I haven't outlined anything concrete enough for me to start building on. I'm not sure when I want to publish this. To be fair, I kind of want to publish it around my birthday. It's called Project Youth, and the idea behind this actually came from something I want to maybe one day hopefully do a PhD on, but that is a whole different story. We're not going to talk about my potential education journey here. So yeah, this idea just stemmed around someone obviously telling me that I wasn't mature enough or wasn't old enough to do certain things. And I was like, okay, but what kind of classifies someone as being mature enough when there's like this specific thing that's saying this is the age you have to be and you should have reached some sort of maturity by that point, right? So I feel like I'm explaining this in a really vague kind of way. It was such a weird experience when this happened to me, and I was like, okay, I'm not really a fan of how this goes. So I just wanted to kind of write. It was more going to be like a kind of reflective experience, so something like catharsis, but also more exploring the idea of maturity and like what maturity means to different people. So obviously in the sense of like a child, a teenager, someone who's like a young adult, and maybe someone who's like older. But that's kind of the idea of that poetry collection, and I would really like to release it around my birthday, because that would be really interesting and it would be really cool, because I would say this technically didn't happen around my birthday, but it was close enough, and it definitely made me think about how people perceive maturity, particularly because I was thinking about how there were certain like restrictions and laws in that place that obviously wasn't like statewide or nationwide in general. So I was like, okay, so if my friend group, we have obviously people born in the same year as me, some a bit older than me, and some a bit younger than me. So if I'm turning a certain age at around my birthday, obviously that fits with their restrictions, but I have those younger friends. Does that mean they're technically immature in your eyes, or does that mean they can't join our party activities because, you know, it's considered wrong and immature and they're not, you know, old enough for it? So it was kind of just making me think about all of that stuff, and that's what I really want to explore in Project Youth. So that's why I kind of want to release it around November. The next one is very similar to Project Reflections. It's called Project IP. I am actually just using that kind of acronym for the title. I do have the title. Once again, it's going to be really similar to Project Reflections. It's a self-love, insecurity kind of poetry collection, except this time it's going to be focusing on eating disorders and kind of like the mental health side of that. So while Project Reflections is going to just be on insecurities overall, Project IP is going to specifically focus in on eating disorders. And finally, Project Hustle. I actually started this last year around this time in, I think, January 4th maybe of 2024, and today's January 3rd as I'm filming this. But yeah, Project Hustle was, as much as it sounds, on hustle culture, which I always found really funny, because I really love the idea of kind of just exploring that and kind of just delving into it. Obviously the book kind of storyline, it's definitely going to be on someone who's obviously very excessive in terms of like trying to get everything done super productively and efficiently, and then all of a sudden there's going to start slowing down. There's going to be like this moment in time when they realize they can't keep doing this. So that's kind of the idea behind Project Hustle. When am I going to publish this? I don't really know. I'm kind of aiming for October, but if not October, it's going to be somewhere around December. I feel like I'm going to say December for a lot of books now, but yeah, I really don't have plans for all of these, so I'm really excited to just see what a month kind of takes me. I know I will be focusing on at least 2 of these projects a month, and I want to try and like get as much of them done as possible. And of course, I'm not going to publish anything unless I'm 100%, 110% happy with it. So there is a lot of like personal expectation on this and high expectations I have set for myself. So will I publish these 10 books in the end? We don't really know, but if they are perfect quality that I'm happy with, that I feel comfortable putting out, then I will. But yeah, we're aiming for 10 books this year, so we'll see how this goes. Let's move on to the projects that I kind of want to write in the background, but I'm not planning on publishing anytime this year. So Project Letters, you would remember from November Writing Diaries, particularly the first couple of episodes, and also a little bit in other vlogs. I have mentioned this a little bit, but Project Letters is this novel I'm doing an experiment on. So this, I'm not really planning on obviously publishing it this year, but if I do, that's honestly going to be so cool. But yeah, it's just going to be a project I want to work on in the background. It's a romance novel. It's going to be a childhood friends to strangers to lovers, well, 2 friends to lovers technically. So lots of fun things to explore. I love the friends to lovers trope, particularly the childhood friends one. So I really want to obviously write this experiment based on what I enjoyed reading and what I want to kind of read. And then we have the To Be Loved series. So obviously the To Be Loved Writing Diaries, I am filming their own series for that. I just want to try and get a bit of a dent into these books. I don't really plan on publishing them, of course. This is going to be quite a massive series and I don't want to overwhelm myself with all of that. So we're just going to focus on taking baby steps with that series, because I do want it to be as enjoyable as possible, because I really love this series, and also it's going to be my first interconnected series and tandem series as well. So it'll be really interesting to kind of explore these dynamics and obviously how to best integrate them. And obviously Project Stars and Sun, which I do plan on publishing as poetry collections, having that kind of help me develop those skills will be very essential to when I do end up working on this project. Next one is more of a hypothetical project that I would love to work on, and that is my dystopian fairy tale retelling of Beauty and the Beast. Now, will I actually work on this is a different question, but I do want to try and at least outline and get draft 1 done for this book, because I would love to get like something of it, because I love the ideas, but I just don't feel like I have explored it further enough that I can really get through it, particularly in the draft. So I want to kind of develop it this year at least. And I did start brainstorming this on my way to uni, so during my commutes, and that was like a very short period. So obviously it's not the easiest to say that I have really thought about this, and I haven't really thought about it since April of 2024. So we shall see. And then finally, this idea has just been enumerating inside my mind, and that is my dystopian romantic thriller idea, which I don't know what's going to happen to it. I just want to work on it. Don't plan on publishing it, to be completely fair, because I don't write thrillers. I stick primarily to poetry and romance. So a thriller is like a whole other genre, and I'm like, I don't know if my writing can, you know, go up to that standard. I have a very cutesy style of writing. It's very, I guess, not flowery, but it's definitely a lot more on the softer, calmer side, so a lot more young adult. And this is more of a adult thriller, so who knows how that idea is going to fare out. I do want to try and just outline it and see where it goes, but in terms of like anything else from there, I don't really have plans for, but I do want to at least outline it and finish brainstorming all of these ideas. So that is going to be it for this video. Those are my 2025 publishing plans. I'm aiming to publish 10 books and work on a bunch of novels in the background, so stay tuned for a very crazy year. But also, can I do this sustainably while taking 12 classes this year is another question that we will, I guess, find out together. But until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay healthy, stay happy. Bye! Apple pie, yeah, they want a piece of us. My, oh my, when we drive
on by, they just can't deny. Yeah, they wanna be like us. Na 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 na.